Alright guys, so today we are going to talk about another way that we can compare fractions, okay? So before we talked about, the fraction concepts, we talked about how you can look at fraction models, you can look at a number line. If those are given to you, you can look at the whether the numerators are the same, denominators are the same. You can compare it to benchmark fractions. Remember we talked about all of that last night. So after we practice those a little bit, it is a lot of work to compare fractions. It is a lot to understand that concept. But I am going to show you a foolproof way to see whether or not two fractions are equivalent. Okay, so let's go ahead and title our journal entry. Let's see what color we should use. All right, so let's say comparing fractions with the butterfly method. Ooh, sounds exciting, right? The neat part is that it looks just like a butterfly. All right, so comparing fractions with the butterfly method. So let's say that I've got, okay, so I'm actually going to set this up as being letters. You know how sometimes we replace letters with numbers? This is just so you can see what it will be like every single time, okay? So let's say I've got one fraction here, another fraction here, okay? Actually, you know what? That's not going to work. It's not enough space above. So you want to have enough space above before you start working on before you write your fractions down, because you need to have enough space to work above where your fractions are, okay? So let's let that dry for just a second. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's draw our fractions just down a little bit lower. Okay, so let's draw them like right here and right here. Okay. Here is what we're going to do. So let's say that this is A over B, and this is B over, I'm sorry, goodness gracious, Miss Hargrove, what are you doing today? Struggling. It's Monday, that's what it is. It's not Monday for you, it's Monday when I make it this. Okay, let's let that dry for 1 second. So we're going to call that C over D, okay? So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to write your fractions side by side like that, okay? And then you're going to circle the denominator of this one and the numerator of this one. So we're going to circle it like this. Just like that, okay? And then we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to come down here. We're going to circle the A and the D, and we're going to come up right here, okay? Let's see. I think that's dry enough for us to write on now. We'll at least write a little bit of a rough draft. Ooh, got some white out on the marker. Man, I'm just rocking it today, huh? Okay, so C over D. So what you're going to do is you are going to write your antennas now. So we're going to make a butterfly, so I need you to make some antennas for me. I'm going to need you to make one antenna going this way, one antenna going this way. Okay? Go ahead and do that. I'll give you 1 second to make sure you have all those parts. Okay, so we are going to be multiplying in order to find equivalent fractions with the least common denominator. Okay, so least common denominator means the smallest denominator that I can convert those two fractions into an equivalent fractions that both have the same denominator. Because if they have the same denominator, well, things become so easy because then you just look and see which one has the bigger numerator, right? So here's what you're going to do. Up here, you're going to multiply exactly what you circled. So you're going to multiply B times C right here. B times C. Okay? Then over here, you're going to multiply. What do you think you're going to multiply to get this part right here? A times D. Okay? A times D goes right under that antenna. Then we're going to go ahead and come down here and make a little bottom of the body of the butterfly, and that's going to be, what do you think? B times D. All right, B times D. So that's our model. That is our template. That's what we're going to be using to multiply these fractions. And why this works, guys, is you're going to be finding equivalent fractions that you're going to write right here. Equals something, equals something. So this part right here is going to give you the numerator of this fraction that goes right here. Same thing over here. This number that you get right here will give you the numerator of this right here. The denominator of both of them will be whatever you get for that. So that will be both denominators. So then we can just easily look at the, let me write this too. We can just easily look at the numerators and see which one's bigger. So inside here will either be greater than, less than, or equal to. That's what we will put in there. All right? So let's do a couple examples. I'm going to go ahead and, so that should take up about half of your page. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a line, and I'm going to draw a line down here. So I just separated that bottom half into half. Okay? Give you a second to get that done. So let's say that I have, let's say that I've got, let's do it the same colors. Let's say that we've got 4/9, and then we've got 2/3. Okay? Remember, I'm going to write them side by side like that. And then I'm going to circle what? I'm going to circle the numerator of this one and the denominator of this one over here. I'm going to circle it just like this. Circle them so I know what I'm multiplying. Okay? And I'm also going to circle these two. So we're just multiplying across, right? So we're making an X with how we're multiplying. Everybody see that? We're making an X. So then I'm going to draw my antennas. Another way you could draw your antennas would be like this. Well, we could draw them just the normal way we just had it, or we could do this. And just so we can, you know, mix it up a little bit. Or you can use that to give yourself a little bit more room to write your number. All right? So let's do this part first. So how do I get the number that goes right up here? What do I need to do? Let's look at our template. So our template says to multiply B times C. Well, B times C would be those two numbers like that. So I need to multiply 9 times 2. What's 9 times 2? Oh, if you said 18, Miss Hargrove, give yourself a pat on the back. 18. All right, now, how do I get this one up here? Well, my template says I need to multiply A times D. These two right here, right? So that involves me multiplying 4 times 3. What's 4 times 3? 12. Beautiful. Here remembers what these are going to become, what these two numbers will become. Do you remember I set it up here? What are they going to become? They're going to become my new numerators of my equivalent fractions that I'm making. All right? So now how do I get this bottom part of the body down here? How do I get that? How do I get that? Well, I'm going to multiply where my template says I'm going to multiply B times D. So that's these two numbers on my butterfly, which means I'm going to multiply those two numbers right there on my butterfly. So what is 9 times 3? 9 times 3 is, let's count by threes. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 27, 24, 27. Sorry. So I'm going to put my 27 right down here. So that's going to become my what of my equivalent fractions? That's going to become my denominator. My denominator. So I'm going to write my equal signs like this. Ooh, didn't leave a lot of room over there, Miss Hargrove. Okay, so now I just need to set up my equivalent fractions. So what's going to be my equivalent fraction over here? This would be, numerator is 12, denominator is 27. So 12 27ths. 12 27ths is an equivalent fraction to 4/9. These two fractions are equivalent. They are equal to each other. Okay? Over here, what's my numerator going to be? 18. What's my denominator? 27. All right? So, At this point, so 18/27 is equivalent to 2/3. This is why this works, guys, is because I'm just finding equivalent fractions for these two numbers to where they have the same denominator. That's what my aim is for them to have the same denominator. Okay? So now, at this point, since they have the same denominator, I know from my journal entry yesterday that all I need to do is look at the numerators and see which one is bigger. So is 12 greater than, less than, or equal to 18? Less than. So that means, I'm going to write it again down here. 4/9 is less than 2/3. Look at how nifty that is. And guess what? All we needed was our math facts. That's all we needed. We didn't need any crazy fraction knowledge, really. I mean, we already have that established from what we did today and what we did last night. So all we need to do is have our multiplication facts known and know that those are equivalent fractions. That's really important that you understand that those are equivalent. Like this is equivalent to this fraction, this is equivalent to this fraction. Okay? That's why we're able to do that, is because those fractions are completely equal, so we're not changing the value. All right, let's do one more. Let's do 3/4 and 2/6. 2/6. So first step, I need to circle denominator over here, numerator over here, and numerator over here, denominator over here, right? So I make my X. I make the wings of my butterfly. Wings of my butterfly. Okay, so now I need to draw my antennas. I kind of like the way I drew them last time. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and draw the bottom of my body. Okay. Don't forget that part. That part's important because it helps you know what the denominator is. If you get to the point where you're like, oh no, I don't remember the denominator, look at the bottom of the body. Okay? So, how am I going to figure out what comes up here below this antenna? I need to multiply denominator here over here times the numerator over there. So what's 4 times 2? 8. Okay? And to get this, what goes under this antenna right here, I need to multiply 3 times 6, which is 18. Right? Okay. So how do I get this number down here? Well, let's look at my template. If you ever get stuck, look at your template. Right here at the bottom of the body, it says I'm multiplying the two denominators, b times d. So 4 times 6 is 24. Remember a couple of months ago when I told you if you didn't know your multiplication facts, it was going to come back to haunt you? This is what I was talking about. Okay, so now I need to draw my equal signs and find out what these fractions are equivalent to. So what fraction is 3/4 equivalent to? It's equivalent to 18/24. Kind of small, but you know what I'm writing. 18/24. Over here, it's what? 8/24. 8/24. Okay, so now so this 2/6 is equivalent to 8/24. 3/4 is equivalent to 18/24. So which one's bigger, 18/24 or 8/24? 18/24. So that would be a greater sign in the middle, right? Beautiful. So let's write it as a fraction sentence down here. So 3/4 is greater than 2/6. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Okay, go ahead and do your, actually, can you flip your page for me, please? Flip your page for me, and I'm going to have you draw something. I'm going to have you go ahead and draw, divide your page into fourths, so into 4 different quadrants. So just divide it into fourths, and then I'll give you a clearer picture on where to draw your butterflies. So first problem, second problem, third problem, fourth problem. Some of you won't get to the fourth problem. That's okay. But everybody will have at least 3 problems on that quiz. Okay, so this is where you show your butterflies. Understand? Beautiful. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the morning.